7 Wonders of the World 2021. Various lists of the wonders of the world have been compiled from antiquity to the present day, in order to catalogue the world's most spectacular natural features and human-built structures. Number 1 Great Pyramid of Giza. The Great Pyramid of Giza, also known as the Pyramid of Khufu or the Pyramid of Cheops, is the oldest and largest of the pyramids in the Giza pyramid complex bordering present-day Giza in Greater Cairo, Egypt. It is the oldest of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and the only one to remain largely intact. Egyptologists conclude that the pyramid was built as a tomb for the Fourth Dynasty Egyptian pharaoh Khufu and estimate that it was built in the 26th century BC during a period of around 27 years. Number 2 Great Wall of China. The Great Wall of China is a series of fortifications that were built across the historical northern borders of ancient Chinese states and Imperial China as protection against various nomadic groups from the Eurasian Steppe. Several walls were built from as early as the 7th century BC, with selective stretches later joined together by Qin Shi Huang, 220–206 BC, the first emperor of China. Little of the Qin wall remains. Later on, many successive dynasties built and maintained multiple stretches of border walls. The most well-known sections of the wall were built by the Ming dynasty, 1368–1644. The frontier walls built by different dynasties have multiple courses. Collectively, they stretch from Liaodong in the east to Lop Lake in the west, from the present-day Sino-Russian border in the north to Tao River, To, in the south, along an arc that roughly delineates the edge of the Mongolian steppe spanning over 20,000 kilometers, 12,000 miles, in total. 5. Today, the defensive system of the Great Wall is generally recognized as one of the most impressive architectural feats in history. The Great Wall concept was revived again under the Ming in the 14th century, and following the Ming army's defeat by the Oirats in the Battle of Tumu. The Ming had failed to gain a clear upper hand over the Mongolian tribes after successive battles, and a long-drawn conflict was taking a toll on the empire. The Ming adopted a new strategy to keep the nomadic tribes out by constructing walls along the northern border of China. Acknowledging the Mongol control established in the Ordos Desert, the wall followed the desert's southern edge instead of incorporating the bend of the Yellow River. Number 3 Petra, Jordan. Petra, originally known to its inhabitants as Rakhmu or Rakhemo, is a historic and archaeological city in southern Jordan. It is adjacent to the mountain of Jabal al-Madba, in a basin surrounded by mountains forming the eastern flank of the Arabah Valley running from the Dead Sea to the Gulf of Aqaba. The area around Petra has been inhabited from as early as 7000 BC, and the Nabateans might have settled in what would become the capital city of their kingdom, as early as the 4th century BC. Archaeological work has only discovered evidence of Nabatean presence dating back to the 2nd century BC, by which time Petra had become their capital. The Nabateans were nomadic Arabs who invested in Petra's proximity to the incense trade routes by establishing it as a major regional trading hub. Although the Nabatean kingdom became a client state of the Roman Empire in the 1st century BC, it was only in 106 AD that it lost its independence. Petra fell to the Romans, who annexed Nabatea and renamed it as Arabia Petrea. Petra's importance declined as sea trade routes emerged, and after an earthquake in 363 destroyed many structures. In the Byzantine era several Christian churches were built, but the city continued to decline, and by the early Islamic era it was abandoned except for a handful of nomads. It remained unknown to the West until it was rediscovered in 1812 by Johann Ludwig Burckhardt. Number 4 Coloseum, Rome, Italy. The Coliseum is an oval amphitheater in the center of the city of Rome, Italy, just east of the Roman Forum. It is the largest ancient amphitheater ever built, and is still the largest standing amphitheater in the world today, despite its age. Construction began under the Emperor Vespasian, r. 69–79 AD, in 72 and was completed in 80 AD under his successor and heir, Titus, r. 79 to 81. Further modifications were made during the reign of Domitian, r. 81 to 96. The three emperors that were patrons of the work are known as the Flavian dynasty, and the amphitheatre was named the Flavian Amphitheatre by later classicists and archaeologists for its association with their family name. The Coliseum is built of travertine limestone, tuff, volcanic rock, and brick-faced concrete. The Coliseum could hold an estimated 50,000 to 80,000 spectators at various points in its history, having an average audience of some 65,000. It was used for gladiatorial contests and public spectacles including animal hunts, executions, reenactments of famous battles, and dramas based on Roman mythology, and briefly mock sea battles. The building ceased to be used for entertainment in the early medieval era. It was later reused for such purposes as housing, workshops, quarters for a religious order, a fortress, a quarry, and a Christian shrine. The Coliseum underwent several radical changes of use. By the late 6th century a small chapel had been built into the structure of the amphitheatre, though this apparently did not confer any particular religious significance on the building as a whole. The arena was converted into a cemetery. The numerous vaulted spaces in the arcades under the seating were converted into housing and workshops, and are recorded as still being rented out as late as the 12th century. Around 1200 the Frangipani family took over the Coliseum and fortified it, apparently using it as a castle. The Coliseum was used to host gladiatorial shows as well as a variety of other events. The shows, called munera, were always given by private individuals rather than the state. They had a strong religious element but were also demonstrations of power and family prestige, and were immensely popular with the population. During the early days of the Coliseum, ancient writers recorded that the building was used for naumachii, more properly known as navalia proelia, or simulated sea battles. Accounts of the inaugural games held by Titus in AD 80 describe it being filled with water for a display of specially trained swimming horses and bulls. Number 5 Chichen Itza, Mexico. Chichen Itza was a large pre-Columbian city built by the Maya people of the Terminal Classic period. The archaeological site is located in Tinam Municipality, Yucatan State, Mexico. Chichen Itza was a major focal point in the northern Maya lowlands from the late Classic, circa AD 600 to 900, through the Terminal Classic, circa AD 800 to 900, and into the early portion of the post-Classic period, circa AD 900 to 1200. The site exhibits a multitude of architectural styles, reminiscent of styles seen in central Mexico and of the Puic and Shen styles of the northern Maya lowlands. The presence of Central Mexican styles was once thought to have been representative of direct migration or even conquest from central Mexico, but most contemporary interpretations view the presence of these non-Maya styles more as the result of cultural diffusion. The layout of Chichen Itza site core developed during its earlier phase of occupation, between 750 and 900 AD. Its final layout was developed after 900 AD, and the 10th century saw the rise of the city as a regional capital controlling the area from central Yucatan to the north coast, with its power extending down the east and west coasts of the peninsula. The earliest hieroglyphic date discovered at Chichen Itza is equivalent to 832 AD, while the last known date was recorded in the Asario Temple in 998. Number 6 Machu Picchu, Cuzco region, Peru. Machu Picchu is a 15th-century Inca citadel located in the eastern cordillera of southern Peru on a 2,430-meter (7,970 feet) mountain ridge. It is located in the Machu Picchu district within Urubamba province above the Sacred Valley, which is 80 kilometers, 50 miles, northwest of Cuzco. The Urubamba River flows past it, cutting through the cordillera and creating a canyon with a tropical mountain climate. Machu Picchu was built in the classical Inca style, with polished dry stone walls. Its three primary structures are the Intihuatana, the Temple of the Sun, and the Room of the Three Windows. Most of the outlying buildings have been reconstructed in order to give visitors a better idea of how they originally appeared. By 1976, 30% of Machu Picchu had been restored and restoration continues. Machu Picchu was declared a Peruvian historic sanctuary in 1981 and a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983. In 2007, Machu Picchu was voted one of the new 7 wonders of the world in a worldwide internet poll. Machu Picchu is situated above a bow of the Urubamba River, which surrounds the site on 3 sides, where cliffs drop vertically for 450 meters, 1,480 feet, to the river at their base. The area is subject to morning mists rising from the river. The location of the city was a military secret, and its deep precipices and steep mountains provided natural defenses. The Inca Bridge, an Inca grass rope bridge, across the Urubamba River in the Pongo de Manique, provided a secret entrance for the Inca army. Another Inca bridge was built to the west of Machu Picchu, the Tree Trunk Bridge, at a location where a gap occurs in the cliff that measures 6 meters. Number 7. Taj Mahal, India. Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal crown of the palace is an ivory white marble mausoleum on the southern bank of the river Yamuna in the Indian city of Agra. It was commissioned in 1632 by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan, reigned from 1628 to 1658, to house the tomb of his favorite wife, Mumtaz Mahal. It also houses the tomb of Shah Jahan himself. The tomb is the centerpiece of a 17-hectare, 42-acre, complex, which includes a mosque and a guest house, and is set in formal gardens bounded on 3 sides by a crenellated wall. Construction of the mausoleum was essentially completed in 1643, but work continued on other phases of the project for another 10 years. The Taj Mahal complex is believed to have been completed in its entirety in 1653 at a cost estimated at the time to be around 32 million rupees, which in 2020 would be approximately 70 billion rupees, about US $956 million. The construction project employed some 20,000 artisans under the guidance of a board of architects led by the court architect to the emperor, Ustad Ahmad Lahori. The Taj Mahal was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983 for being the jewel of Muslim art in India and one of the universally admired masterpieces of the world's heritage. It is regarded by many as the best example of Mughal architecture and a symbol of India's rich history.